Hello. In this video, we're going to discuss how to divide using long division. And we're going to use the example 44 divided by 4 to learn this topic. Now, first, I'm going to start with some terms. So the first number in the division is going to be called the dividend. And this second number is going to be called the divisor. And when we divide, we're really saying how many times can the divisor fit into the dividend? And the answer, I'll write it here, but we'll get it later. The answer is called the quotient. Now I'm going to set this up in a different but equivalent manner. And first on the outside is going to be the divisor. So I'm going to say 4. I'm going to draw this little house. I'm going to stick the dividend inside. And we're going to get the answer, but eventually the quotient will go up here. So our first step is to look just in the tens place, or whatever the maximum place value is. And I'm going to figure out what is 4 divided by 4, or how many times can 4 fit into 4. So, of course, this fits in one time, and I'm going to write 1 times 4. I'm going to subtract the 2. So 4 minus 4 is 0. Then I'm going to bring down the remainder. And I'm going to do the same thing. How many times can 4 fit into 4? That's 1 time. I'm going to subtract 1 times 4. And that's going to be 0. And we're done with the division problem once we get 0 as the subtraction and there's no more numbers to bring down. So when I say, what is 44 divided by 4? The answer, or the quotient, is 11. So let's look at one more example. It's going to be 62 divided by 2. So I'm going to rewrite this with the divisor on the outside. Inside the little house is going to be the dividend, which is 62. I'm going to look at the highest place value, which is 6. How many times can 2 fit into 6? Well, really, I'm doing a small division problem, saying what is 6 divided by 2? So I know I can fit 2 3 times into 6. So I'm going to write 3. Then 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. I'm going to bring down the 2. And we can just ignore this 0. Now, how many times does 2 fit into 2? Once. Then I'm going to do 2 minus 2, which is 0. So I know that 62 divided by 2 is equal to 31. Now let's look at some examples. So first up, we have 36 divided by 3. So I'm going to rewrite this. And this is sort of the long division form. 36. 3 is in the highest place value. 3 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm going to subtract 3 minus 3 to get 0. Bring down the 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times. So I know that 36 divided by 3 is equal to 12. And I didn't write this, right? But I know that 2 times 3 is 6. And 6 minus 6 is 0. So that means we're done. And I'm left-handed, so I write my checks backwards. This one's going to be a little bit different, but we're going to look at 115 divided by 5. So the same first step. We're going to look at the highest valued place value. I know that's 1. Now 5 doesn't fit into 1. So I'm going to put a 0 here. You could also leave this blank, but I'm going to put a 0 here. 0 times 5 is 0. I'm going to subtract this. I'm going to get 1 minus 0 is 1. I'm going to bring down the 1. Now we're going to do this again. But now we're going to look at this number altogether. And so I'm going to say, how many times does 5 fit into 11? And I know 5 fits into 11 twice. And if you skip count, right, we would go 5, 10. Now the next one would be 15, but we only want 11. So I know that 5 only fits into 11 twice, and then we have a remainder of 1. So 2 times 5 is 10, just like we found with the skip counting. 11 minus 10 is 1. Now I know that 5 can fit into 15 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. I'm going to subtract 15 minus 15 and get 0. So I know I'm done because I hit 0 and there's nothing else to bring down. And 0, 2, 3 is the same as 23. So I know that 115 divided by 5 is equal to 23. Next, we're going to do 80 divided by 8. I'm going to just look at the 8 value here. 8 fits into 8 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. Subtracting is 0. I'm going to bring down 0. And 8 fits into 0 0 times. 0 times 8 is 0. Subtracting 0 minus 0, which is 0. Now I hit a 0, and there's nothing else to bring down. So that means I'm done. So 80 divided by 8 is 10. And then one last example. We're going to do 100 divided by 2. 2 fits into 1 0 times. 0 times 2 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. I'm going to bring down the 0. And now I did bring down a 0, but we still have figures to bring down, so we're not done quite yet. 2 fits into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. I'm going to bring from way up there the 0 back down. 2 fits into 0 0 times. So 0, 50 is the same as 50. So I know that 100 divided by 2 is 50. And one way you can check yourself with these division questions is to rewrite this a little bit. So I know that 100 divided by 2 is equal to 50. Another way to write this, I'm going to bring this 2 over. I'm going to say 100 is equal to 2 times 50. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.